Hello boys, welcome back to another session of online biology video tutorials, and this session is meant for class 11th biology students, and this video is meant for 2nd July 2021. As we all know that we were deliberating, discussing about chapter 2 biological classification, and in that we said the most accepted version is the 5 kingdom classification proposed by Whittaker, and for the last few days we were discussing the kingdom Munira, kingdom Protista, and now we are of course we have also discussed kingdom fungi yesterday. Now we are going to the 4th kingdom, kingdom Plantae. And basically when we say kingdom Plantae, it includes all eukaryotic. What do you mean by eukaryotic? Carrion means nucleus. Eu means very clear. All the plants in their cells will have very clear nucleus. And of course, they being green, majority of the plants will be green in color because of the presence of chlorophyll. Having chlorophyll, plants are autotrophs. They prepare their own food. So all those plants which are green having chlorophyll are autotrophs. So they have chlorophyll, hence we say chlorophyllous. So plants are eukaryotic, chlorophyllous, photosynthetic, multicellular organisms. A few members are partially heterotrophic, such as insectivorous plants, and some of them are parasites. Okay, leaving these insectivorous plants and parasites, the other plants which are green, they are all eukaryotic, chlorophyllous, photosynthetic, multicellular organisms. So they contain a cell wall, and the cell wall chemically is made up of cellulose. So we say cellulosic cell wall. Some are partial heterotrophs, such as insectivorous plants like bladderwort. Okay, you can see the bladderwort here, and Venus flytrap. Here the insect is getting trapped, and then some of them are parasites like Cuscuta. So they grow on other plants and derive or absorb the nutrition from the host plant. Moving ahead, kingdom Plantae includes the following groups of plants: algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms, and angiosperms. So about these groups in our next chapter we will be discussing in detail, but in this chapter we will be knowing about what exactly is this on superficial way. So algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms, and angiosperms. As you are seeing the photos, you can see the algae are green and lower category of plants. Next we come to the bryophytes, which are first land plants. Then we see pteridophytes, where the xylem and phloem, vascular tissues start arising. We can also classify the whole plant into different parts. Then you have got naked seeds, plants with naked seeds, they are gymnosperms, and of course all the flowering plants that we see come under angiosperms. So life cycle of plants has 2 phases. One is the sporophytic phase, another is the gametophytic phase. Sporophytic means a portion of the life having spores. So sporophytic, part of the plant that has got spores. Similarly, gametophytic, portion of the life that has got gametes. And as already I said, gametes are the reproductive organs or sex organs, male sex organ, female sex organ. So they have either one set of chromosomes. If they have got one set of chromosomes, we write normally N, indicate with N. Then we say haploid, one set of chromosomes. On the other hand, diploid. If the organism has got two sets of chromosomes, we write 2n, diploid. So every plant has got two phases, one diploid sporophytic and haploid gametophytic. These phases alternate with each other to complete the life cycle of the plant. This phenomena is called alternation of generation. So normally it is a major question in the annual exam. What is alternation of generation? Briefly explain the phenomena in angiosperms, gymnosperms, bravophiles, like this, with a specific example. So in general we'll see, like we have got a sporangium, okay, and sporangial structure will be there, which is 2n, two sets of chromosomes will be there in the sporangium, and the sporangial structure will undergo meiosis, which is a reduction division. As a result, sporangium forms spores, and the spores will be having n number of chromes, one set of chromes. Now the gametangium will be there, gametangium having gametes, male gamete, female gamete, fusion of male gamete and female gamete take place, fertilization takes place. As a end product of fertilization, zygote will be formed, which is 2n. So this is how the life cycle gets completed, alternating between 2n sporophyte and n gametophyte. Here we can see the specific example. You can see the male gametophyte in pollen, okay, and the sporophyte, the spores will be formed, and the sporophyte in seed, you can see the seed gets germinated. Now you can see the germination of the seed and formation of the adult plant. Now at the base, of course, you have got a male gametophyte and female gametophyte. Female gametophyte is in ovum, and female gametophyte is ovary, and female gamete is ovum. Male gametophyte is the anther, and male gamete is the pollen grain. So this is how the sexual reproduction takes place. Now, in the case of plant cells, these are, as we said, eukaryotic with a cellulozoic cell wall. Life cycle consists of a dominant sporophyte. What do you mean by dominant sporophyte? Majority of the life cycle is covered with sporophytic organs. Then we say that particular phase is dominant, like sporophyte is dominant. And then highly reduced gametophyte showing alternation. Because gametophyte phase is very less, then we say it is recessive gametophytic stage. They are cosmopolitan in occurrence, economically very important, as plants give us food, fodder, timber, fuel, and whatever we require to survive, they are all being given by the plants. Kingdom Animalia, on the other hand, all the animals including us come under this kingdom Animalia. So basically animals are multicellular, many cells will be there, tissues will be there, organs will be there, organ systems will be there. Heterotrophic, since we don't have chlorophyll, we can't be autotrophic. Most of the animals are heterotrophic, leaving the lowest category of animals, which possess chloroplast. So basically majority of them are heterotrophic, eukaryotic, and no cell wall. There is no cell wall. Directly we will have cell membrane. They directly or indirectly depend on plants for food. So they are depending on autotrophic ones. They digest their food in an internal cavity and store food reserves as glycogen or fat. So that glycogen or glucose will be there in this organ, liver. And of course fat get accumulated throughout the body under subcutaneous membranes. Their mode of nutrition is holozoic, means ingestion of food. The animals take the food at a stretch into the system, and the food undergoes different phases like ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation, and egestion. So the moment ingestion takes place through mouth, okay, the process of intake of food through mouth is called ingestion. And once ingestion takes place, the food will be broken into parts, small parts physically, with a mixture of certain saliva and enzymes. The food comes down to a pipe, food pipe called esophagus, and then reaches the stomach portion. It is in the stomach that digestion takes place. Digestion is process of breaking complex food into simple absorbable food. Once digestion takes place, now the food from stomach enters into small intestine. So from small intestine, the blood that flows throughout the body will come and bathe this small intestine. During the process, the food in the form of absorbable stage gets absorbed into blood. Now the blood takes the absorbed food, normally in the form of glucose, to each and every cell, along with oxygen from lungs. Thus, every cell in our body gets two things, glucose plus oxygen. So these two undergo oxidation. So oxidation of glucose takes place, resulting in the formation of energy. For every glucose, one molecule of glucose, we get 36 ATPs. Whatever food that is undigested, toxic, useless, will move to large intestine, and through large intestine, through rectum, through anus, the undigested, unwanted, waste, poisonous food will go out of the body through anus. We call this as excretion. So this type of mode of nutrition where subphages are there, and at the end of it digestion takes place with excretion of the unwanted substances, is called holozoic. So kingdom Animalia, they have definite growth pattern and grow into adults that have a definite shape and size. So cell differentiation leads to particular shape and size. And they grow, unlike plants, to a limited time. After that, there won't be any growth. Whereas plants grow throughout their life thanks to presence of meristematic tissue. The higher forms show sensory and neuromotor mechanism because they have sense organs, so they are able to do sensation of hearing, sensation of vision, sensation of smell, sensation of touch, sensation of taste. So thanks to the nervous system for this. Most of them are capable of locomotion. They have very good muscles and bones that help in moving from one place to another place. The sexual reproduction is by copulation of male and female, followed by embryological development, the formation of embryo. So this is how the animals move ahead. And moving to next one, that is before we go to the viruses and viroids, we can say kingdom Animalia consists of heterotrophic, eukaryotic, multicellular organisms which have cells that lack cell wall and chlorophyll. They show holozoic nutrition and depend on plants either directly or indirectly. They may be saprophytes, parasites, or symbionts also. They digest their food in an intestinal cavity or internal cavity and store their food as glycogen or fat in the liver. They follow a definite growth pattern, and higher forms have elaborate sensory and neuromotor mechanism. Most of them show locomotion. Sexual reproduction is by copulation of male and female or gametic fusion, only followed by embryonic development. We go to the next class. These are viruses, viroids, prions, and lichens. So let's see these viruses because we are worried about corona. Corona is a virus. For the last 2 years, day in and day out, what is there in our mind is the coronavirus, right? So let's know what this virus is. What is a virus? Virus is a nucleoprotein. For all your information, I should tell that viruses are dead ones. They are not living organisms because they are just made up of nucleoproteins, that's all. And they are able to utilize this synthetic machinery of a living cell. That is how they are dangerous. They are using our cells, living cells, after entering inside us and multiply. This is the problem. So if we don't allow the viruses inside, they cannot multiply, they die soon. And that is the reason why government is requesting all of us to put mask, to have the hand washing, to maintain social distance. If we can do this, the viruses cannot propagate in themselves. They cannot spread this coronavirus. So they are not mentioned in five kingdom classification because they are separate. They are considered as the bridges between living and non-living organisms. Viruses, viroids, prions are non-cellular. Look at that. They don't have cells and not truly living. So they are not included in the classification. So basically viruses will be a nucleoprotein substances. You can see the nucleoprotein substances. And then viroid particles will be like this in a zigzag fashion. Prions will be still smaller, and of course Lychens will speak. It is a combination of the two things. And continuing with the viruses, they have inert crystalline structure outside the living cell. Inert. That's why they are non-living. Viruses are obligate parasites. They depend on others, parasites. When they infect a cell, they take over the machinery of a host cell to replicate themselves, killing the host. That is the reason why we should not allow that fellow inside. Louis Pasteur has given the name virus, means venom. Venom means poison. And then Ivanovsky is the scientist who is credited with discovering the virus. He recognized certain microbes that cause mosaic disease of tobacco. Okay? They were smaller than bacteria because they passed through bacteria-proof filters. And Bejernik in 1898 demonstrated that the extract of the infected plants of tobacco could cause infection in healthy plants and called the fluid as contagium, vivum, and fluidum, means infectious living fluid. So this is how the scientists worked over. And in 1935, Stanley showed that viruses could be crystallized, and the crystals consist of largely proteins. A virus is a nucleoprotein. A virus is a nucleoprotein, and being a nucleoprotein, it means it has got a lot of proteins. A protein coat will be there. We call it capsid, that protein coat. And of course, genetic material is there. Most of the viruses will have RNA, and some of them have got viral DNA also. No virus contains both RNA and DNA. The genetic material is infectious. You can see here some of the viruses: satellite tobacco mosaic. We say TMV, tobacco mosaic virus crystals here. And when we analyze that, the structure of the virus will be like this. So inside you have got RNA, genetic material. Outside you have got capsid, protein. So this is how. Now what scientists are trying to do, this glycoprotein rays are there, no? If we can make our body, surface of any cell, non-receptive to this, corona will not be there. That is the idea. So generally viruses that infect plants have single-stranded RNA, means one thread will be there. Viruses that infect animals have either single or double-stranded RNA. So we say dsRNA, double-stranded RNA. Now you can see tobacco mosaic virus here, hepatic C virus, coronavirus you can see here. See, this is the dangerous fellow virus now, causing the lot of deaths in the world. And of course, herpes virus, bird flu virus, it created lot of havoc recently. Smallpox, once upon a time it killed many people. Influenza, still it is causing flu for us. So viruses have become almost part of our life. We have to deal with them. And sometimes they have the bacteriophages. viruses that infect bacteria. Sometimes one more question will be there in your UPSC exam. What are bacteriophages? Viruses. Bacteriophages are not bacteria. They are viruses that infect bacteria. And they have that double-stranded DNA. The protein coat, capsid, made of small subunits called capsomeres, protects the nucleic acid. These are the fellows which are giving protection for them. So if we can dissolve them, we are the winners. So capsomeres are arranged in helical or polyhedral geometric forms. So either this way or this way. This is how they are to be digested. Viruses, why they are dangerous? Look at this, how they make us to suffer. They cause diseases like mumps and smallpox, very, very dangerous. Herpes, again dangerous. Influenza, a lot of flu, sneezing, and of course the deadly AIDS. In plants, the symptoms can be mosaic formation, like in tobacco, leaf rolling, sometimes you must have seen the leaf gets folded, yellowing of the leaves you must have seen, vein clearing, veins will be eaten off, dwarfing and stunted growth. So this is how the viruses play havoc in our life. So basically viruses, viroids, prions and Lychens